friend of the show, Serena Townsend. Serena, welcome back to the Sal Greco Show.
Thank you so much. It's always fun being with you.
Yeah. So I figured there's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot of legal cases, actually, I wanted to bring forth. But before all of that, there's a breaking news thing here. So as you've known, if you followed this case, there's a case of former Lieutenant Quatisha Epps. She's filed a complaint against the New York City Police Department, particularly the former Chief of Department, Jeffrey Maddrey, and the now Chief of Department, John Schell, and Kaz Dawdry. They're all involved in that whole overtime scandal, which also involves sexual harassment, assault, and all that stuff. So I guess this morning there have been some kind of images or videos floating around on a WhatsApp, which NYPD cops are notorious for using. And I used to say this was crazy. But there's a statement now that was issued by her attorney, Eric Sanders, who will be on this show this coming Thursday, discussing any and all matters about this case. So I just want to read this, and then we'll get your take on it, because it's just breaking. So this is from Eric Sanders. Good morning. Earlier today, we became aware that coerced and unauthorized nude videos and images of Ms. Epps shared with her abuser under duress are being circulated via WhatsApp and other messaging platforms used by NYPD personnel. As instructed, Ms. Epps promptly reported this matter to the IEB Command Center, IEB log number 2025-7405. So that has already been, Internal Affairs has this. Through confidential sources, we have identified an NYPD officer using a cellular number registered with an online application linked to these unauthorized disclosures. This officer's profile, phone number, and related WhatsApp posts have been submitted to IEB for confirmation. We expect IEB to verify this information in accordance with the law, and if confirmed, take immediate action to arrest this officer. Furthermore, the investigation must continue to uncover both the originator of these disclosures and all individuals involved in the distribution. Make no mistake, these violations will not deter Ms. Epps from pursuing every available legal avenue to hold her abuser and his enablers fully accountable. So that's the statement there. So Serena, what is your take on all of that? Because it's funny, because tonight there's a 2-part series that's going to air on ABC on Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. Eastern on Channel 7 in New York, which is highly anticipated. We don't know what's going to be said there. So what is your take? You're a counselor.
I have a lot of things to say. And not only am I an attorney, but I was a former sex crimes prosecutor, and I was in charge of internal affairs on Rikers. So all of these things check every single one of my boxes. I have a ton to say. First of all, look, those videos, you cannot be sharing those videos. First of all, there's something called rape shield laws. There's something called revenge porn. Obviously, we're not going to go into detail about what the state of this woman was in those videos, but the point is, you cannot be distributing certain types of videos in any sort of way, whether it's via email or in a WhatsApp. These officers should have known better. They should have known the law. They also should know that when you circulate things like that in your little group chats on WhatsApp, someone is going to betray you. Someone is going to disclose this. And IAB is definitely going to investigate it and probably figure it out. You can just look at the metadata, and all you got to do is figure out who was in that WhatsApp little crew there, and you're going to have people you're going to have people point fingers at you. That being said, it's very unfortunate that things happen like this. The reason why rape shield laws exist is that if this woman really was sexually assaulted, you're not allowed under the law to pull other things like this against her and use it against her. There's a lot of protections for people who were put in her alleged situation, because people like her in her situation have a very hard time coming forward and outcrying when things like this happen. So we try very hard to protect survivors of sexual abuse. And of course, Chief Maddrey is going to try to now use this video against her to say that it was all consensual, but that does not mean that it was consensual. And I do feel very, very badly for her that now she not only has to defend herself against Maddrey and all of that, but now against this, trying to taint her reputation. It's a very, very difficult position for her to be in.
Yeah, and that's basically, see, even Patrick Donahue chiming in. He says, my non-law degree Spidey sense screens revenge porn. I think he's right. A lot of people in the chat are saying, why Moshi, why are you still using WhatsApp and never gets deleted, and subpoena is easy. It's all true. And here's another one by Patrick Donahue. This bully tactic is something that anyone who has dealt with the Dream Team Gotham Brothers shouldn't be shocked at. He's 100% right. See, Serena, the issue here is, I know a lot of people are they're homing in on this overtime thing. A lot of people are upset in the NYPD that they overtime and whatever is now cut, or they're being micromanaged. And it shouldn't be that way, because they're micromanaging and going after the small people, the working people. They're not going after the executives. Kaz Dodry, I don't even know if this guy is a civilian. He's a cop, because now he's a deputy mayor. So it's like, these guys are never held accountable. And all they try to do is hold the little guy on the totem pole accountable. That's what they've been doing under this administration for decades. It's what you always see. So when it comes to this, we need accountability regarding the upper echelon. That's what's needed here. So I don't know who's stupid enough to put this in a WhatsApp thing. Or, Serena, when I was I was in the NYPD, there used to be there was a WhatsApp chat in the place that I was never in this thing. I wanted nothing to do with it. But in this WhatsApp chat, they had pictures. They would talk about each other police officers. They would put articles and things and degrade other cops. And that's exactly what you're saying. You fall in line with, there's so many people to go after. Even if you're in it and you don't want to be in it, you got to get yourself out of it. There could be 30, 40, 50 people in it. So now when this happens, Serena, what's next? Because I think everyone can be held accountable on one stupid, low information person putting something in, thinking that he's doing something really, really astounding.
It's a really big problem, because as you and I and anybody in law enforcement knows, if you're part of a group that receives, pornography or pornographic materials or anything of that nature, you're going to potentially go down for that. So if I were anybody in that WhatsApp group, I would run, not walk, to turn myself in actually to IAB. I would be like, listen, I just happened to be on this chat. I never anticipated or expected that this would have come through. I don't want any part of it. I would not delete anything. I would not tamper with anything. I would give it over to IAB. I mean, as long as you're not part of it, you need to remove yourself from that situation immediately and cooperate. If I were still in charge of internal affairs on Rikers and this happened there, I know I would be pulling all of that data. I'd be subpoenaing everybody. I'd be bringing them in for a compelled interview. And I would get down to the bottom of it. I know that me and my team would, and it only is going to get uglier if you don't cooperate right out the gate. It's bad, but these tactics are seen all of the time. I myself was an almost victim of revenge porn at Rikers after everybody tried to gang up on me. They tried to post terrible pictures of me in the Daily News. And luckily for me, the Daily News had tact and knew the law. But it happens to women all the time. This is why I get pissed off, because it doesn't mean that, you consented to anything, or you consented to a picture taken of you surreptitiously or anything like that. And so whoever was involved should be very, very worried.
It's only a matter of time. And it's just Patrick Donahue again. He makes another good point. When entities start using WhatsApp, Signal, other encrypted communication apps, it reeks of nefarious activities. It has been rumored that the mayor utilized such apps and forgot the passcode. Isn't it? You know what? He's right. See what I'm saying? And here's the thing that people don't understand, and I want this point put across. The FBI is involved in this case. They have been for a while. In fact, in another statement that was yesterday, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically in substance, Eric Sanders is saying he's asking for any witnesses or anyone that knows about what happened when right after this, they went inside Jeffrey Maddrey, chief of department's office, when he abruptly resigns and puts his papers in, and they start taking furniture out. The carpet's ripped out. The carpet and everything they spent $20,000 refurbishing and refurnishing everything in that office. And then all of a sudden, when he resigns, they go back in there and they're remodeling it again. So, and it's right after her claims. So that right there was a red flag. There was a detective that went up there, some stooge that's part of their unit that went up there. He had no access. There's no access for just anyone to go to the 14th floor. So that in itself is a question mark. So now all of these things are starting to be, people are starting to ask questions. But I think people, a lot of people, especially in NYPD or retired or homing in on the overtime thing, you're looking at a smaller issue that's a much bigger problem. So, and if I'd say this, if you look at Quatisha Epps, whether you say she is a victim or whether you're saying she's a necessary evil, okay, you need her in whatever she knows and what has happened and transpired here to take down this corrupt administration. Because I know the FBI is involved. In a letter that was referenced in my own case, and Eric Sanders, again, he's representing me in a different case, but in my case, he had referenced that there was this going on with Epps, that the FBI was involved, and then he mentioned the entities, upper echelon, the NYPD, and the mayor's office. So remember who could be involved in this. I'm pretty sure we know who that mayor's office, what's going on there. I think we have a good idea. So that's what's at stake here. And for anyone who wants to know, and you'll know more on Thursday when I have him on, and we'll reference her later on in the show. She did complain about all of this long before it really started getting into what you think or what people are starting to summarize or surmise in their own mind. She made a complaint to EEO, to Wendy Garcia. Remember her? She was the deputy commissioner of EEO in the NYPD. Where is she now, Serena?
Well, she's where she probably needs to be, not in the NYPD and at DOC, because who else is going to take this person but our very, very accommodating New York City Department of Correction? It's actually shocking to me the way that people could just fail up in this administration, especially on situations like this, EEOC. We all know that EEOC sometimes is used as just a venting place, right? People don't get their way. Sometimes they make complaints. They don't want to follow the direction of their supervisors, so they do that. But here you have legitimate complaints, specifically of a sexual nature. How do you not take it seriously, especially knowing the pervasiveness of this attitude throughout NYPD, throughout DOC, throughout a lot of law enforcement agencies who are unfortunately being run in this administration by the people that we are seeing running here. So she's just doing her thing. She's jumping from agency to agency, which we do see in this administration happening.
You just watched the latest clip from the Sal Greco show. If you want to watch the full episode, click the link below. And while you're at it, please hit the like, share, subscribe button. And don't forget to click the notification button also.